네, 안녕하세요. 오늘 정말 아주 스페셜한 이런 장소에서 스페셜한 게스트를 또 모셨습니다. 저희 뉴스포터에서 선배님 혹시 그 크리스천 데이비스 인터뷰 보셨나요?
아, 예, 봤습니다.
네.
뷰가 몇만 나왔었죠, 그때?
그때 그 뷰는요, 그렇게 많이 안 나온 게요.
수십만 뷰 나오지 않았나?
아니요, 제 거 뷰는 15,000? 이렇게밖에 안 나오고
예.
그거를 이제
예.
다 이렇게 전파한 MBC 클립이 400만. 제가 되게 억울한 거예요. You know?
저희 채널도 늘 벌어지는 일인 게 우리 얼마 전에도 보도했는데 그게
네.
한 12,000명 봤나요? 우리 이은주 선생님 보도? 근데 그거 다른 데 가져간 건 다 수십만 뷰.
So Christian Davis here again.
Diplomacy is going nowhere, and North Korea responds very badly to. On holiday, my phone was on silent, and it was about 10:40.
오늘은 우리 장인수 기자님의 저널리스트와 뉴스포터가 같이 콜라보를 해서 우리 크리스천 데이비스를 인터뷰하는 자리입니다. 크리스천 데이비스가 사실은 오늘이 거의 마지막이라고 해요. 이제 곧 한국을 떠납니다. 한국에서 이제 뉴욕으로 이제 발령이 나서 가시는데 정말 의리 있게 우리 뉴스포터의 마지막 인터뷰를 할 수 있는 권한 주셔가지고 제가 얼른 장인수 선배와 콜라보 방송을 좀 크게 키워보자 해가지고 이렇게 모셨는데요. 장인수 선배님 크리스천이랑 대화만 인사를 저 영어
Hello.
이게 좀 애매해요.
Nice to meet you.
장인수 선배 영어 잘하지 않아요?
아니. 영어 때문에 다시 오늘 이 자리에 나와야 되느냐 고민이 많았는데 I can
네.
speak English very well, but I need some AI translator.
Sure.
Well, it's okay, right? You can
Absolutely.
understand some Korean, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. I just want to, please say hi to our subscriber. And, our last clip was very, it was spread out. Most of the channel, newspaper, they covered our clip, right? Did you have fun? I heard that you got a lot of contact messages from people.
Yeah, I wish, actually, I arrived in Korea more than 4 years ago, and now I wish I set up a YouTube channel because I had more impact with one YouTube video than I did with 4 years of
I
articles.
know. And then our channel has only 100,000 subscribers. It's not a big channel, but they really liked it. So, do you have a plan to open your on YouTube soon?
No, I think it's too late. I think this is the this is the country. If you're going to communicate with people, YouTube is, I think, quite clearly the number one place.
Korea.
In Korea. That's partly a reflection, actually, of the lack of confidence in the traditional media in Korea among many people. And like with all kinds of things on social media, you get some really great stuff and some not so great stuff. I always thought your channel looked really interesting and seemed sensible to me. So very happy to contribute to you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us last opportunity to interview you. Actually, PD님도 아까 전에 질문했던 게 한국이 유튜브 저널리즘 원탑이죠. 근데 아직 미국이나 영국이나 다른 나라는 유튜브 저널리즘이 사실은 레거시 미디어를 넘는 경우가 별로 없는 것 같아요. 아직까지는.
네.
How about UK or states like abroad? They still have a YouTube journalism, but the impact is not bigger than ABC or CNN or channel.
I think in the UK in particular, the political podcasts are really huge. So these are podcasts that people listen to, but they also do the filmed YouTube versions. And increasingly those political YouTube discussion channels, they're often done, interestingly, actually by ex-politicians who, when they were politicians, they couldn't speak very freely, but then they later they had a second career making political podcasts on YouTube, and they were able to speak from what it was like on the inside. And people find that very interesting. And increasingly, some of those channels are getting the numbers just like the mainstream media.
그러니까 한국 유튜브 저널리즘에 대한 어떤 좀 비판 내지는 폐해 같은 거를 혹시 뭐 좀.
No, I'm not, as you can imagine, a typical consumer of Korean YouTube journalism. So I can't say that. I mean, but journalism on YouTube is just like journalism everywhere else. You get the good journalism and bad journalism. There's less regulation, which can be a good thing, that you're freer to say good things, but you're also freer to say bad things and to produce bad work. So it's a much more diverse ecosystem, and it can be hard sometimes to navigate. Generally, younger people, because they grew up with social media, they're better at filtering the good and bad things, but actually older people are much worse at it. So older people often find it harder to distinguish between like quality journalism and propaganda. Not always, but it's because it's not the kind of information that they grew up consuming, and so older people are often more vulnerable to like the bad kind of propaganda style journalism. We've seen, in the last couple of years with martial law and union and everything, we've seen, of course we've seen angry young people, but we've seen a lot of angry old people as well. And YouTube is the center of almost all of that.
Especially during the martial law period, YouTube journalism was very powerful, right? In Korea. I think they replaced major news channel. During the time.
한국의 기자단 제도에 대해서 아마 알고 계실 거라고 보이는데 출입 기자단이 있잖아요, 한국은. 한국에서는 기자들이 정부 부처를 취재할 때 출입 기자단이 있어서 출입 기자단을 통해서만 취재가 가능한데 그걸 보시기에 좀 어떠신지, 그러니까 좀 꽤 자연스럽게 보이는지, 혹시 뭐 이상하지는 않은지, 외국인의 시선으로 봤을 때.
We have it in the parliament. It's called the lobby system.
Lobby system,
which is where the journalists are accredited and they have like a parliamentary pass and they can walk around the parliament and so on. And a lot of people, that's where they do the group briefings, for example, and they do these things. And a lot of people are very critical of the system. They say it's too closed, it's too cozy, that everyone is too close to each other. And that, for example, the too many deals done between the journalists, not just between the journalist and the officials, but also that the journalists do deals with each other. Okay, now it's your turn to do the story. Now it's your turn. This kind of thing. This is always the balance is. On the one hand, you want to have more access. On the other hand, if you make it too open, then the officials won't feel comfortable talking. You need enough trust in order to have the officials comfortable enough to talk. But if it's too closed, then not enough access, then there's too much room for deals and for cozy things. And that's in the UK, that debate's been going on literally for hundreds of years because it's a very, very old system. But I do sense that in Korea, this kind of lobby system is replicated. Almost every ministry has one, and my understanding, but I'm not an expert on this, is that in Korea, the journalists, they become deeply embedded in like a ministry or a company. And in the end, they become, we say, going native. They start, instead of representing the outside world in the company, they start to represent the company in the outside world, and they start to. And this thing about getting too close and not scrutinizing enough. That's the.
한국 언론과 기자들은 디올백 보도에 대해서 이제 취재윤리 위반이라고 비판을 많이 했었는데 그때 사실 제가 이거 취재윤리 위반 아니다. 영국 언론을 봐라. 감정 취재 많이 한다. 이렇게 반박을 했었거든요. 디올백 보도를 어떻게 보셨는지 좀 궁금해요.
Yeah, that was an example of a story, like a local political story, which the whole global media picked up. When I first moved to Korea, I was told that, writing about domestic politics in global media is not always interesting to a global audience because it's so hard to understand. You have to understand so much of the history and the background. But sometimes you get a story which sometimes illustrates, captures something, and this had all of the different elements.
왜 가세요? 예.
This had, obviously a Dior bag. It had the First Lady. It had kind of shades of Imelda Marcos in the Philippines and her luxury shoe collection and so on. It was one of those stories which were easier for outsiders to understand what was going on, although, of course, there tends to be a deeper story as well. And also, it was a way of writing about the First Lady because for the foreign media in particular, it's quite a tricky subject when talking about the for example, First Ladies, the wives of politicians or leaders, because in Korea, everyone was talking about Kim Kon-hee and all the different scandals around her, but we are always very careful because there's a very long history in all human history for hundreds of years about the wives or the women getting blamed for the leader's problems. You know, they don't want to criticize the leader directly, so a lot of the criticism goes to the wife instead. You know, this is the classic kind of Marie Antoinette syndrome, that Marie Antoinette gets blamed for everything that the French monarchy did bad. And so a lot of the foreign media, although they heard all kinds of rumors about the First Lady, hesitant because they didn't want to join a kind of, you know, maybe campaign against her. But in a sense, the story about the Dior bag for foreign media was less about the bag itself, but it was about all of the discussion around her. So this was a way for the foreign media to show the global readership that this First Lady, fairly or unfairly, became a big personality in Korean politics, and that the whole future of the Yoon presidency, the story about the First Lady was really central to that.
만약에 지금 이웅기 의원을 못 들어가게 한 게 맞다면
And obviously, you know, we still don't know exactly about some of why martial law happened and so on, but it feels like some of the investigations into the First Lady were clearly one of the motivations for President Yoon wanting to shut down the National Assembly and things like that. So sometimes we pick a local story that tries to illustrate something bigger. So we don't write everything just about the bag. We take the bag issue and then we say, why is this important? It's because, you know, this First Lady is a very controversial First Lady, and this is important way about talking about the presidency. So that was the value of that story for the foreign audience.
좋아하잖아, 기자들 그렇게 하는 거.
소맥, 소주 타임.
I'll tell you when I've been a journalist for 20 years.
But what's the star then? Star line.
No, I'm not. You're not going to draw me on. You're not going to draw me on this. I'm not going to talk about it.